Hi guys, welcome to another video from Tod I. Today I'm off to one of my favourite mines. I'm going right up to Rhosydd. Yeah, it's a bit windy up here, so I'll start filming when I get to the mills round the corner. But there's the old water wheel. They built that water wheel and only used it for a couple of years. I went back to that old one further up the mountain. Yeah, so this level of Rhosydd, there used to be the old mills, the old slate mills. All these buildings here. And these buildings here used to be the old barracks. The miners used to stay with their families during the week. But it was a total madhouse of beer, drunkenness and squalor. So, have a quick look at the mills. Yeah, so this was level 9. They started quarrying right at the top of the mountain up there. And then the first adit was like adit number 2, and the deeper they went, they made another longer adit, which was adit number 4. And now I'm going to be going in the famous mighty adit number 9, which is a mile long. Oh, sorry, half mile long. And there it is, over there. Just before the mine shut in the 40s, they used to use old lorry chassis as cranes to lift up the slate into the wagons or whatever. So you'll get a lot of those around the old quarries. And Cwmorthin, the mine down the bottom there, wouldn't let them carry their slates over their tramway, so they had to build their own tramway, the Rhosydd tramway, which runs that way and down the Rhosydd valley and connecting to Rhosydd mine. And that was got one of the steepest cable inclines in Britain, apparently. Yeah, when I used to be a little boy and come up the lakes up here fishing, about 10, 11 years old, I used to come to this adit and I used to feel the cold breeze, and I was always wanted to go into it, like, but it wasn't until I was like 13, 14 I built the courage to go into this one. But here we go. Wow, there's a lot of water today. There's been heavy rainfall the last couple of days. So in we go. In we go. Yeah, I've got my phone stabiliser with me, but I'm not going to put it on until I get to the bottom of this adit, because it's a half mile long adit, it's a lot of walking. So I'm going to keep my phone in a pocket most of the time. So I'll have nice smooth footage once I get inside, so don't worry about that. The water's starting to shallow out a bit now. And you can see the old sleepers. Yeah, once my phone stabilises on, it'll get rid of all the shakers in the footage. Oh, can you see something reflecting down the bottom there? I think someone's in there. Yeah. I'll blind them with my torch. Right, so just chatting to these guys who was passing me. They're from Rhosydd, who have just done a through trip from Rhosydd. And but it seems they're not bothered about all the mines and all the history. They just want the thrill of abseiling and stuff like that, crossing bridges. Well, each to their own, I suppose. This is a first bit of chamber, like this is like a new vein. Rhosydd was built, was following the old vein, like so I think this was just a trial of a new vein, and this is, I think, halfway down the adit. I've been walking for ages and I'm still not even halfway. That's just about halfway, yeah. Still got a lot to go. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the eastern workings, all the way up to the tunnels where not many people have been in 120 years. And then go as far east as I can, and also go as far west as I can, so you can see the whole mine. Because this is, as I say, one of my favourite mines. It's like, it wasn't electrified, and it was shut in the 1900s because it had a great fall. Half the workings collapsed, so all the eastern workings were lost. So it wasn't very profitable after that. So the mine basically closed, and then the Coleman Mustard owners, they took it over in 1920, but were just running it at, you know, trying to get what was left of a slate, and that they finally shut it 20 years later, 1940, because it originally opened in 1840, I think. You know, they were getting slates here 20 years earlier, like 1820s. And then they formed the Rhosydd company in the 1840s and started mining. Right, I've been walking ages and look, you can still see a little tiny entrance. So I got to the first compression chamber, well, a little compressor room where they had all the air compressors. And I've got my foam stabiliser on now, so we can have a nice smooth video. I can actually jump up and down, and there's no jerky or stuttering. And these are the first bit of chambers, the first actual chambers that were working. I'll put a map on so you can have a rough idea of how the workings were. They're quite simple workings because they only worked it on one vein, and they go from level 0 or level 1 in the very top all the way down to floor 14, and I'm currently on floor 9 now, and all the bottom floors out under this are all flooded. So you can only go up in the levels, you can't go down anymore. After half a mile, I'm finally getting into the workings of the actual mine itself. Bloody hell, that timber was slippy. Nearly went on my bum then. And this is the sheave for the megrin. Like the cable would turn on that, and it would pull the carts all the way down. And it was all powered by water wheel. And here's our first chamber with a couple of inclines. I put the torch on turbo so you can have a good look at the chamber. There's one of the inclines. probably come off one of the incline, one of the winding gears. And the inclines in this quarry were all gravity driven. The loaded carts would drop down the incline, pulling the empty wagons back up, and we'll have a good look at those later on when I show you the big pulleys. That must have been the incline signalling system. There's the incline down to the flooded levels below. An old timber mine slab wagon, they're old, the timber ones. And here's the incline. Right, yeah. We're going to go to Eastern Workings, where not many people know how to get there. You can see untouched tunnels full of hobnail boots. If I can get there safely. And this was another compressor chamber. Had more air compressors in here. I'm not sure if you've steam driven a lot of them down here. That's why it's all black and sooty. Yeah, because of the exhausts. There's an adit going in there, like, but because of the Great Fall of the 1900s, a lot of the Eastern Workings have all collapsed. That's for the air pipe. So they're inaccessible. But I know the only way up, which I'm keeping to myself because I don't want too many urbexers who might find a way, because a lot of them are idiots. I'm not saying all urbexers are idiots, I'm saying there's a minority who go to the mines, they watch videos, try and find their ways to the mines, and they spray the places with graffiti. Like we were disgusted in Mine of Ferrin last week, spraying all over old mines graffiti, spraying on the old winding gear, on the old inclines. That was disgusted me, it was heartbreaking. There's a pulley on the roof, and that's how the Great Fall affected the mine. This one big collapse, the Eastern Workings just totally collapsed. Right, I'm not going to film too much until I get there because I want to film the whole mine, so I don't want the video being like an hour and a half long. Making my way up through the massive boulders and the roof, which is collapsed, and now we're having to scramble over them. I've squeezed through. I'll put it on again when I get to the level bit. It's a bit dodgy here to be filming. This is nothing compared to what it's like higher up. Get to the tunnel over there. Put this off. Next mission. Climbing up the waste tip. Got up the easy bit. Now this is the dodgy bit. It's very, very slippery. Very slippery indeed. So I think I'm going to have to use both hands here. Right, it's alright going up. It's coming down, it's dodgy. Right, and up. And look what greets me up here in the top. Nice winding drum. That mill used to be the break. I can see where the big slabs have fallen and collapsed onto it. Now what's unique about these, they've still got the bronze couplings, which is extremely rare because metal thieves love stealing those because it's bronze. Probably a few quid in it. Look at the old candle. Oh, sheep's fat candle. Oh. Right, on we go. There is a tunnel behind there, but it was up to my waist last time, because I've got a lot to do today, a lot to explore. I'm not going to get wet straight away. I'm guessing this incline was built after the Great Fall, after the fall, just to try and get some of the slates that were still up, you know, some of the slates they could get, because it's different to all the other inclines. It's like a single one and it's got a single winding drum, whereas all the others have got big pulleys, and so I don't know if it was an original older one or what. And here we've got my little 25-pound explosive barrel lid, and one of these miners' favourites, Hartley's jam jar, where they'd use them as cups. And I love this. This is brilliant. This is W Masters and Co. Wholesome apple zing. See if I can get a good. What is it? Apple zing. Seems to be on this side. Apple zing. That's in a very old bottle. Very old. Where's the apple zing gone, I think? Where's there? Why can't it focus? Just can't focus on the apple zing for some reason. Up the incline. Some old miners' candle graffiti. It's a very short incline, so I'm guessing, I'm not sure if it was pre-1900 or built after the Great Fall, because I haven't seen any of these anywhere else in this mine, only on this side. So I'm guessing they were built between 1900 and 1914, because the mine shut at the First World War. It stopped producing and the closed down. But this is amazing. I've never seen one like this anywhere else. And there's the break. I've got all the old miners' graffiti up there too. Because the whole mine was stripped for a scrap when it shut in the before the First World War. So I don't know if they just couldn't access this, or well, because the cable seems to have gone, and this too has got the couplings to want it as well, the bronze coupling. And what we've got here, part of an old jumper hand drill, look, which is very rare to see in a mine. I know a mine which has got 3 in one, which I keep to myself, but even seeing part of one is very rare nowadays. And this is what the Great Fall looked like. That is the roof. So I'll be going up there in a minute and have a better look. Now we've got hobnail boot prints down here. But there's no point having a look down here really, because there's better hobnail boot prints further on. Can you see hobnail boots? It doesn't go any further this way. More collapse. It did carry on that way, but you can't access it because of a collapse. More Hartley's cups. This is probably a glass shelter maybe, or end of the line. So I'm going to climb up the collapse now, because I haven't filmed up there. I've only been to this part on the video so far. I've had to put my phone stabler in my bag at the moment, because I'm currently scrambling over huge slabs which used to be the ceiling, so I need one of my hands free at least while I'm scrambling over these. Yeah, so you can have an idea how shonky it is up here. Can you see where the roof used to be, and it's fallen down? So it's all where I'm walking on now. The roof has just caved in, and I'm walking on the ceiling. So all these boulders were up there. Shit, all this is fucking fresh fall. This pile wasn't here last time I was here. That roof didn't look like that. So I'm getting out of this area. Fuck. Yeah, this part here, there's 5 chambers meant to be here. So that means there should have been 5 pillars. But the pillars are not here no more, because it's all big collapse. So the roof can come down at any time. And that part over there seemed very fresh. You can tell with the colour of the slate how fresh it is. How jagged. Right, I'm gonna go down there. There's a bit of fucking safety, but if it does come down, there's no way back for me. So you might not get this video. The things I do for bloody chunky tour videos, huh? Wow, because of that fresh fall, it's totally confused me. The place I was going to go second, I've actually come first. So let's have a quick look down here. This tunnel, nobody's walked in for 120 years at least. And nothing but hobnail boot prints all the way down the tunnel. Nothing but hobnail boot prints. Wow. So the last miners who were the last to walk down this tunnel. Wow, amazing. Wow, really sweating, scrambling over those collapses. Oh. More hobnail boot prints in the tunnel here, but they're not as prominent in this tunnel. But they're there everywhere if you look proper. One of my favourite bottles are here. This is a very old bottle. Let's get a little bit of light. Owens. You can tell by the shape. That's pre-1900s, it's like 1800s, isn't it? Wow. And the one place I want to get to, but there's a big drop down there. I'm walking on a little ledge. There's a big drop down there where this used to have a floor coming across. There's a ledge going across, and down there's some nice artifacts by the looks of it. But the only way to get there is across that dodgy ledge. So I need to come back with a rope. And at least if it does collapse or fall, I've got a fighting chance of surviving because I'll be on the rope. Wow. What's this? Oh, it's a bloody glove. I think it was one of our gloves last time we come here. Yeah, these are the pillars which are meant to support the ceiling, and there are every chamber has them, like they're the walls of a chamber basically, and they're there to hold the roof up. Oh, is that a level up there? Anyway, because that span there hasn't got any pillars for 5 chambers at least, that's why the roof has come down. And it doesn't help with all those quartz bands as well, because the slate miners used to hate quartz. It used to be crumbly rock. That's the ledge I was on earlier. I got to about there. but no way was I going to walk across that, because that might give way. So I do it with like a rope, because isn't that like a rusty eyelid halfway down? You could probably tie the rope onto that, so if it did collapse, at least you'd be okay. Because you can see where all the slates have just been falling out the roof. Oof. Right, I'm going to show you this cabin, and then I'm going to be out of here to the western part. This is probably just a shonky look, but not as bad as this. You see all the soot marks on the ceiling from the candles. Everywhere. Yeah, soot bags everywhere. I'm going to have to be careful in this cabin. You see all the soot marks on the candles. Wow, they haven't spotted that old graffiti before. Done with candle. And here we have, look, an old candle. Still there, the sheep's fat candle. Oh, more graffiti on mine, is graffiti. Poo. All done with the soot off the candles. I haven't been up this chamber before, so I don't know if it's worth going up. But I know this is the far end of mine. I don't think there's more tunnels. I think this is a very, according to the map, this is the last chamber anyway. This is the most eastern you can get, so there's no point going up. And we have here, we've got an old cabin right in the corner, which is full of hobnail boot prints. There's nothing but hobnail boot prints on the floor. We've got an old toolbox, wooden toolbox. Have a look. I want to keep to the side so I don't spoil all these hobnail boot prints. But they're hardened there, they're quite hard in the ground, so I don't think new footprints would come in. Jam jar. What else we got in here? Oh, where's the miner's glove? Ah, where is the miner's glove? There is a miner's glove here. Oh, there it is. Oh, what's it doing on the floor? I'll put it back here. That glove is from the it's pre-1900s at least. Look at the buckle with a leather still intact. 120-year-old glove. Wow. Very Star cigarettes. I've not seen those before. And the old wrench. Still got the miner's hand tape on it. It did have a miner's tape on it. There you go. Oh, the torch is a bit too bright. Barrel lid. Another candle. Should be more candles about this somewhere. Few candles. Oh, there's a whole pile of candles. The old miners had to pay for their own candles with the wages. Mad conditions they had there. Right, I'm going to have a cigarette. I'm going to go head back, put my phone off until I get to the Western workings. So see you there, guys. Right, back on solid, safe ground. Oh, it's nice to have fresh air as well, because the eastern workings are cut off. There's not very good ventilation, so I was roasting in there, I was sweating like mad. Oh, it's nice to come back down here and have some fresh air. Oh.